Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume, and I rise in strong support of S. 4791. This bill, which was introduced by Senator Roy Blunt, passed the Senate by unanimous consent. It would establish a term of 10 years for the Director of the Government Publishing Office. Unlike the heads of other legislative branch agencies, like the Architect of the Capitol, the Comptroller General, and the Librarian of Congress, the Senate-confirmed Director of the Government Publishing Office has no defined term. Now, the Government Publishing Office, or GPO, as we often refer to it, is one of the true treasures of the legislative branch. Since it was founded in 1861, it has grown from a modest operation to one of the world's largest and most renowned information organizations. Every day, GPO provides the government and public both conventionally printed products like the Congressional Record and passports, and digital services like ebooks, digital publishing, mobile access, and more. It also plays a key role in continuity of government in case of an emergency. Over the course of the past several years, we've seen firsthand the importance of effective leadership at GPO. The COVID-19 pandemic caused the largest disruption to agency operations since the Civil War. But thanks in no small part to the leadership of Director Hugh Halpern, GPO provided top-notch, uninterrupted service to Congress to ensure that we were able to provide relief to American families, communities, and small businesses. And the agency did so thoughtfully and responsibly with the discipline needed to stay safe as possible. In fact, one prominent business award organization named GPO, quote, the most valuable employer during the COVID-19 pandemic. This bill would bring the GPO in line with the rest of the legislative branch and establish the same 10-year term for its director that currently exists for the Architect of the Capitol and the Librarian of Congress. As with those agencies, the Director of the Government Publishing Office would be eligible for reappointment, and given his track record, certainly would have earned it. Formalizing the term of the Director will ensure that the agency has effective leadership and allow for increased transparency and accountability. And for these reasons, I encourage my colleagues to support this piece of legislation. And Mr. Speaker, I reserve the balance of my time.
Totally reserves. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Illinois.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of Senate Bill 4791, a bill that will establish a 10-year term limit for the Director of the Government Publishing Office. I want to thank my friend in the Senate, Senator Roy Blunt, for introducing this bill earlier this month and for the Senate's quick action on it. Although a change to a term limit may seem inconsequential, I would like to encourage my colleagues that this is a bill that will greatly benefit the entire legislative branch. The GPO plays a vital role for our Congress. As the original government's printer, the agency has supported the House and the Senate for over 160 years. And although Americans engage with their government in a much different way than they did in 1861 when the GPO first opened its door, the agency has adapted. It has upheld its vision to achieve an America informed. Much of the strategic success over time can be pinned down to two driving forces: Congress keeping GPO accountable to the needs of the institution, and strong agency leadership. Today, we find ourselves at a time when GPO is under the strongest leadership it's seen in decades. Director Hugh Halpern is a man whose career was shaped in the House of Representatives, from working on numerous House committees, including the Rules Committee, to being Director of Floor Operations. Hugh knows our institution and has taken that knowledge to the GPO. In the time since his appointment, he has greatly increased the transparency of the GPO, of course with congressional oversight, has launched numerous modernization initiatives to ensure that GPO products truly serve Congress and the American people, and got GPO back to work faster than any other legislative branch agency as we overcame the pandemic. Right now, GPO is unlike other legislative branch agencies in not having a set term for its director. Senate Bill 4791 corrects that and aligns the GPO director position with its counterparts by establishing a 10-year term limit. Not only does this strengthen the agency by increasing institutional stability, It reinforces that the director of the GPO serves Congress and the American people, not the executive branch. I'm thankful for Director Halpern's leadership and innovation at the GPO and encourage my colleagues to support this legislation to further the GPO's accountability to this institution. I reserve.
The chair now recognizes the gentlelady from California.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield myself such time as I may consume. You know, Mr. Halpern did indeed work in the House of Representatives. He was on the Republican staff, and I think it's meaningful that the chair and ranking member of the House Administration Committee, Democrat and Republican, feel the same way, that he has done a terrific job as director of this office. The term limits is not about him. It's my understanding he actually supports Senator Blunt's bill, but it's simply to have a time where you evaluate and then you can reappoint, just as with the Librarian of Congress and the architect of the Capitol.